Good evening and welcome back to another very warm day. So, we're just going to crack on with the reading straight away because it's too warm. I need to reopen my window. But we can't do that while I'm recording, so let's get going. Thus spake the preacher on the mount, and turned then his own look towards Zarathustra. For hitherto it had rested lovingly on the kine. I didn't look at how that's pronounced. Then, however, he put on a different expression. "Who is this with whom I talk?" he exclaimed, frightened, and sprang up from the ground. "This is the man without disgust. This is Zarathustra himself, the surmounter of the great disgust. This is the eye, this is the mouth, this is the heart of Zarathustra himself." And whilst he thus spake, he kissed with overflowing eyes the hands of him with whom he spake, and behaved altogether like one to whom a precious gift and jewel hath fallen unawares from heaven. The kine, however, gazed at it all and wondered. "Speak not of me, thou strange one, thou amiable one," said Zarathustra, and restrained his affection. "Speak to me firstly of thyself. Art thou not the voluntary beggar who once cast away great riches, who was ashamed of his riches and of the rich, and fled to the poorest to bestow upon them his abundance and his heart, but they received him not?" "But they received me not," said the voluntary beggar. "Thou knowest it, forsooth. So I went at last to the animals and to those kine. I don't know. Then learnest thou," interrupted Zarathustra, "how much harder it is to give properly than to take properly, and that bestowing well is an art, the last subtlest master art of kindness." "Especially nowadays," answered the voluntary beggar. "At present, that is to say, when everything low hath become rebellious and exclusive and haughty in its manner, in the manner of the populace. For the hour hath come, thou knowest it forsooth, for the great, evil, long, slow, mob and slave insurrection. It extendeth and extendeth. Now doth it provoke the lower classes, and benevolence in petty giving, and the over-rich may be on their guard. Whoever at present drip like bulgy bottles out of the all too small necks, of such bottles at present one willingly breaketh the necks. Wanton avidity, bilious envy, careworn revenge, populous pride, all these struck mine eye. It is no longer true that the poor are blessed. The kingdom of heaven, however, is with the I'm just going to pick at one. With the kine. I can't pick. And why is it not with the rich?" asked Zarathustra temptingly, while he kept back the kine with which sniffed familiarly at the peaceful one. "Why dost thou tempt me?" answered the other. "Thou knowest it thyself better than even than I. What was it drove me to the poorest, O Zarathustra? Was it not my disgust at the richest? At the culprits of riches, with cold eyes and rank thoughts, who pick up profit out of all kinds of rubbish? At this rabble that stinketh to heaven? At this gilded falsified populace, whose fathers were pickpockets, or carrion crows, or rag-pickers, with wives compliant, lewd and forgetful? For they are all of them not far different from harlots. Populace above, populace below. What are poor and rich at present? That distinction did I unlearn. Then did I flee away further and ever further until I came to those kine. Thus spake the peaceful one, and puffed himself and perspired with his words, so that the kine wondered anew. Zarathustra, however, kept looking into his face with a smile. All the time the man talked so severely, and shook silently his head. "Thou doest violence to thyself, thou preacher on the mount. when thou usest such severe words. For such severity neither thy mouth nor thine eye have been given thee. Nor methinketh hath thy stomach either. Unto it all such rage and hatred and foaming over is repugnant. Thou stomach wanteth softer things. Thou art not a butcher. Rather seemest thou to me a plant-eater and a root-man. Perhaps thou grindest corn. Certainly, however, thou art averse to fleshly joys, and thou lovest honey. Thou hast divined me well, answered the voluntary beggar, with lightened heart. I love honey. I also grind corn, for I have sought out what tasteth sweetly, and maketh pure breath. Also what requireth a long time, a day's work and a mouth's work for gentle idlers and sluggards. Furthest, to be sure, have those kine carried it. They have devised ruminating and lying in the sun. They also abstain from all heavy thoughts which inflate the heart. Well, said Zarathustra, thou shouldst also see mine animals, mine eagle and my serpent. Their like do not at present exist on earth. Behold, thither leadeth the way to my cave. Be tonight its guest, and talk to mine animals of the happiness of animals, until I myself come home. For now a cry of distress calleth me hastily away from thee. Also, shouldst thou find new honey with me, ice-cold golden comb honey, eat it. Now, however, take leave at once of thy kine, thou strange one, thou amiable one, though it be hard for thee, for they are the warmest friends and preceptors. One excepted, whom I hold still dearer, answered the voluntary beggar. Thou thyself art good, O Zarathustra, and better even than a cow. Away, away with thee, thou evil flatterer, cried Zarathustra mischievously. Why dost thou spoil me with such praise and flattery, honey? Away, away from me, cried he once more, and heaved his stick at the fond beggar, who, however, ran nimbly away. Chapter 69. The Shadow. Scarcely, however, was the voluntary beggar gone in haste, and Zarathustra again alone, when he heard behind him a new voice which called out, Stay, Zarathustra, do wait. It is myself, forsooth, O Zarathustra, myself thy shadow. But Zarathustra did not wait, for a sudden irritation came over him on account of the crowd, and the crowding in his mountains. Whither hath my lonesomeness gone? Spake he. It is verily becoming too much for me. These mountains swarm. My kingdom is no longer of this world. I require new mountains. My shadow calleth me. What matter about my shadow? Let it run after me. I run away from it. Thus spake Zarathustra to his heart, and ran away. But the one behind followed after him, so that immediately there were 3 runners, one after the other, namely, foremost the voluntary beggar, then Zarathustra, and thirdly and hindmost his shadow. But not long had they run thus when Zarathustra became conscious of his folly, and shook off with one jerk all his irritation and detestation. What, said he, have not the most ludicrous things always happened to us old anchorites and saints? Verily my folly hath grown big in the mountains. Now do I hear 6 old fools' legs rattling behind one another. But doth Zarathustra need to be frightened by his shadow? Also methinketh that after all it hath longer legs than mine. And with that, we are done with the episode for today. Indeed. Finally, we can stop saying Kine. I have no idea if that's right or not, but we don't have to say it anymore, so it's all good. So, I will say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.